Guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Galbeo.
And I'm Mrs. Bromley. This is an old-fashioned version of Twitter called a newspaper.
Today we're doing the news report.
Welcome back, ND. Let's recap what we did last session.
We took a look at Clue.
CLUE is an acronym that helps you with multiple choice questions. You can find it on the very last page of your green book, page 33.
C stands for cross out wrong answers. So the options that you know that are immediately wrong or incorrect, you cross them out.
L stands for locate paragraph. You look for context clues when that word is used in the paragraph, and there's information that you can learn in and around that word.
U is for understand word meaning. So you're going to really take a look at what the question is asking you and break down the meaning of the words.
And E stands for eliminate distractors. You want to focus on what the question is really asking and ignore all those other parts that are just trying to confuse you. For the literacy test, you will receive a total of 4 books. 2 are question booklets, and 2 are where you write your answers. In one of the longer writing sections, you are required to write a news report.
There is a clear right way and a wrong way to do the news report.
So that means you have to listen up, grade 10s. Here's
the news report.
Woohoo!
So today we're going to be focusing on the news report. Galveo, how many times do I have to tell you to be in uniform?
Hi. Take off your hat, Galveo.
You can't be wearing that shirt under your uniform.
It is. I got you. Don't worry.
Okay, so what's the first part of a news report?
Miss,
Yes?
I have a question.
Here we go.
This is a legit question.
Okay.
On the literacy test day, how much time do we have to write it?
You're going to have 2 75-minute sessions of testing with a 15-minute break in between. It'll be on Thursday, March 26th.
Wait, hold up. It's all on one day?
Yes.
Doesn't seem like
That's
a
why
lot
it's
of
so
time.
important that you take this test seriously.
I don't pass.
Then you take it again next year, and if you're unsuccessful for a second time, you can do a literacy course in your grade 12 year. But now, let's get back to the news. This is a triangle, a circle, and a square. This is the layout. Galveo, turn that off and get back into uniform.
But miss, it's so cold in here.
Galveo, at least take off your hat.
What hat?
You already know what it is. Silent talk, silent talk, silent talk. Go and do it for me.
For the literacy test, you'll be required to write a news report based off of the picture and headline provided for you. You'll have to make up and brainstorm facts and information to answer the questions: who, what, where, when, why, and how. You'll have to write a 1-page report on the event. Your audience is an adult reader of a newspaper.
So go to page 18, please. Take out a highlighter, and let's take a look at the format that we're explaining with a triangle, circle, and square. Okay, so there's a lot of information on page 18. But take a look at that triangle, circle, and square. Each of these represents a separate paragraph. At the very, very least, your news report has to be at least 3 paragraphs long. Depending on the complexity of your ideas, it might end up being even longer. but these are short paragraphs. So let's look at this triangle. Why is it a triangle? Well, the very top there, you get right to the point. You get right to the point in your first sentence, and you're going to tell us who, what, when, and where this story is about. Take a moment and underline who, what, when, and where. The next thing that you might notice is that how is at the bottom of that list for the first triangle. Well, how the event happened, and moving down the page in paragraph 2, why the event happened. Both how and why are what we're going to call additional details. These are not the most specific, basic things of the story, but these are starting to fill in some of the blanks or answer some of the questions that a reader of your first paragraph might have. So that's why we have this circle. This is rounding out the story. It's filling in details. So here's an example. If my first paragraph tells me that yesterday in downtown Brampton, a bank was robbed, then how that robbery took place? Well, there's a lot of information in that how. How did it happen? Why did these people choose this particular bank? These details don't belong in the first paragraph. They get their own. They get their own circle paragraph.
And finally, we get to paragraph 3. And why is it a square? Because we're squaring out the details. We're wrapping it up. So in the square, you must have 2 quotations. And this must come from 2 different people. 2 people that witnessed the event. For example, if we go back to Miss Bromley's story of the bank robbery, we could have one eyewitness statement from an eyewitness, so a bank manager perhaps, and one from a police officer. The point is you need 2 different perspectives of 2 different people that experienced the event. So if you still have your highlighter in your hand, take a look back at the page and make sure that the following is highlighted. Under paragraph 1, you should have who, what, when, and where highlighted. For paragraph 2, have how and why. For paragraph 3, highlight quotations.
So this is the overall format of your news report, but that's not what they're going to hand you at the literacy test. You're going to get something that looks like page 19. Take a look at page 19. There's an instruction box that you should read. There's a headline, and there's a picture that goes with that headline. So in this case, it says car wash a success, and we've got that picture of 3 young people washing a car. It's going to be up to you to use that headline and that picture in combination with each other to brainstorm your 5 W's plus how plus those 2 eyewitness statements.
Let's start brainstorming. Let's take a look at what we have here. So let's look at the title, Car Wash a Success. So that means there's some sort of goal in mind. Maybe a fundraiser, maybe it was an organization, maybe a soccer team or a hockey team came together to do something for whatever goal that they had. Okay, take a look at the picture.
So again, the picture also has people washing a car. So the car wash is a key part of this. It's going to be basically our what. This car wash is a success. But we've got 3 young people. They're not wearing any kind of uniform, so maybe it's a group of kids, maybe they're friends. What else can we look at, Miss?
Well, it's obviously good weather, right? It looks like it's sunny, it's probably summertime.
So when I'm brainstorming when, I can't say last night because this is clearly daytime. So this happened yesterday as opposed to last night.
And that's something key to note. Just begin with yesterday. Whatever your newspaper report is about, just knock off the when with yesterday.
So in conclusion, looking at this, we've got some very specific clues and information, like for example, car wash as success, that's our what, but we still have quite a lot to brainstorm. Who are we going to interview, for example? Obviously one of these kids, I guess, but who else could we interview?
Perhaps an eyewitness neighbor, someone who got their car washed. you can put their statements as quotations within the final paragraph, paragraph 3. But remember, you're not interviewing them. You're not going to detail the report as if you're reporting it like that of something that you see on CP24 or on the news. Okay?
You're right, miss, I was wrong. I was very wrong. We're not interviewing them. It's not like that.
Teachers, in a moment, we're going to ask you to pause the video so that you can take a look with your class on the following page, on page 20, how a student took this picture and this headline and got a perfect score on the news report. With a partner, highlight the 5 W's, the details, and quotations found.
Okay, so by now, hopefully we know this news report pretty well. Let's talk about a few things that work so well and help contribute to that 60 out of 60 score. That's a pretty impressive score, obviously, but by following our format, you too can be successful on this. A group of Toronto, Ontario teens who heard about the events in Haiti decided to hold a car wash to raise money on April 7th, 2010. We've got our who, our where, because it also has Toronto, Ontario, and the what and the when, all of that in the first paragraph. But even before getting into any more details, looking at this thing overall, she's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 short paragraphs. That's good. That means that we have multiple paragraphs. I know we were talking about 3, but we said you can have smaller paragraphs if you have a lot of details to round out your story. Other things that are great is that this happened in the past. She's not reporting live at a car wash here in Toronto, Ontario. Nope, she doesn't have a camera, there's no microphone in her hand. This is someone who gathered information and went back and wrote a news report.
If we skip to paragraph 2, let's take a look at how she embedded a quotation. We can note that this author has 3 quotations, okay, even though we are requiring you to write 2. She's a great writer, so she's able to do that, and her writing flows quite nicely. When she adds that quotation to paragraph 2, she does so that it rounds out the details that she introduced in the first sentence. You don't need to do this, but she did it, and she does it well. In paragraph 2, she says, the teens put up signs in their neighborhood to attract the cars passing by. It feels great to do something for a good cause, says Angela Bradford, one of the teens involved in washing the cars.
What you need to take away from this, Notre Dame students, is that she explains who is talking and why they're relevant to the story. So you're not allowed to just throw quotation marks around a sentence and say, there we go, it's my eyewitness statement. We have to know who that eyewitness is. And the way you do it is just like this student did. It feels great to do something for a good cause, comma, quotation mark, says Angela Bradford, one of the teens involved in washing the cars. As long as you explain who's talking, you've done the right thing.
And finally, another good element of this news report is the wrap-up. So that's the final paragraph. So we don't have a conclusion or a final wrap-up within your triangle, circle, square formula. However, it's very important that you do this, okay? Because any good writer wraps up what their main idea is.
In her case, this student has written, the teens are very satisfied in the amount that they made and how they not only help people in their community, but people hundreds of kilometers away. That's a nice wrap-up. In the example of the bank robbery that we were talking about earlier, a wrap-up might be that police are continuing to investigate. An example of a wrap-up, if there was some sort of accident or injury, might be the victim is recovering in hospital. That's all it takes, but it is a really strong way to end a news report.
A final note, the student wrote legibly. Also, this student wrote within the space provided. It's not too long and it's not too short. For those of you with a really critical eye, you may have noticed that this writer included a byline underneath the headline, as well as a caption underneath the photo. You don't need to do that. Actually, don't do that. She didn't get any extra credit for that. Turn to page 25. This is the rubric your OSSLT evaluator will be using to grade your news report. Look at code 60. It says, the response is a news report related to the headline and photo with a clear and consistent focus on an event. There are sufficient, specific supporting details, which are thoughtfully chosen to develop the news report. The organization is coherent, demonstrating a thoughtful progression of ideas. Using the triangle, circle, square will help you achieve all of this. In sum, note that the author did not include his or her opinion anywhere in the report. The news report is written in past tense. Make it easy for yourself. Start with yesterday. Eyewitness statements are included. However, it is acceptable for quotations to be included earlier in the report, as this student did. The triangle, circle, square formula is to simply help you remember what is needed in order to do well. So use it.
Now it's your turn. Flip to page 21 and read the headline provided, look at the picture that matches the headline, and get ready to write your own news report. Remember to brainstorm based on the picture, plan it out, and follow the format that we've been talking about.
Use the organizer on page 22. Fill in the triangle, circle, and square based off of the brainstorming that you did on the previous page. And then complete your good copy on page 23. Remember to indent your paragraphs, write in past tense, and to meet the page length requirements.
And students, you should complete the checklist on page 24 before you submit it to your teacher. It's the best way to check to see how closely you're following all these rules.
Great job, grade 10s. Until next time, I'm Mrs. Galveo.
I'm Ms. Bromley.
Bye.